Teach Me AI with host Nick Niehaus.
Welcome to Teach Me AI, the show where my friends teach me how to use their favorite AI tools and you get to learn along with me. I'm really excited today to be talking to Manuj Aggarwal, who founded Tetranoodle and is a high-level expert working with AI for 20 years. This is an absolutely fascinating conversation, and I am very excited to be sharing it with you. So let's dive in. Welcome to Teach Me AI, the show where my friends teach me how to use their favorite AI tools and you get to learn along with me. Today I'm talking to Manuj Aggarwal, who founded Tetranoodle and has been working with AI for 20 years. This guy even has some patents in the space. This is an incredible conversation, a lot of high-level stuff when it comes to how you should be implementing AI into your business, and there's a lot of urgency to do so. I can't wait to share this conversation with you, so stick around. You're going to enjoy this one. Hey Manuj, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to our conversation. So let's get into it. What are you going to teach me about AI today?
Oh, there's a lot to teach. A lot of people are kind of confused. Some are worried. Some are afraid. A lot of new tools are coming out, and a lot of new news are coming out about AI. So first things first, let's talk about, what are the practical ways to grow your business using AI. One of the things that I advise people is not to run after every shining tool that comes out and more focus not externally on learning everything that is there to learn because you'll go crazy. And being in AI for last 20 years, I cannot catch up. So let alone somebody who's just getting into it will be able to wrap their head around what is happening. Mm-hmm. The right way to do it is focus on your business and see where you are spending most of your time. Mm-hmm. So every business, whether that's marketing, whether that's software engineering, whatever that is, 80% of our profits and revenue come from 20% of our efforts. Okay, that's just a universal rule. The rest of the 80% of the work that we do in our business is what I call the drudgery of work, spreadsheets and forms and documents and all of that stuff, right? So focus on that 80% of that work, which is not producing any revenue for you, but it is an essential part of the business. And that's where you can start to implement AI and chip away at that 80% to gain more time, more productivity, more efficiency. And so that's the number one thing, right? Okay. So instead of running after every tool, focus on your business. And then once you figure out this is what I want to automate, then you go look for that tool. So for example, a lot of people ask me this usual question, okay, what is your favorite tool? So that's like asking me, hey, what is your favorite appliance in your kitchen? And is it the fridge? Is it the microwave? Is it the stove? Like it depends on what you want to make. And so that's the idea here, right? Now, digging deeper into it, so you don't need to know every tool out there, every platform out there. Start with the most robust platforms: ChatGPT, Claude, maybe Gemini if you need to. If you're into video, there are a few really good video platforms: HeyGen, Vid.io. Descript. These few platforms are very, very robust and popular. So focus on that. Try things out. Sign up for a trial for a month or pay for a month, and see what features you like or not like specifically about your business. And then you make the pick. It's very much similar to any decision that we make as adults. Like try out a few things and see which one suits you best, and then go from there.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah. And I love that idea, right? The 80%, we all, I'm kind of sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a lot of there's tedium stuff, right? Just stuff you got to get done on a daily basis. What have you seen? I mean, you've worked with a lot of people on this. Like, what's maybe like the number one most common thing that you've been able to help people kind of reduce at least the amount of time it takes using AI on that 80% side?
This is it, right? What I said was like there's a lot of paperwork in many industries. Purchase orders, invoices, like you name it. And then let's say, we are working with some companies who are providing home services like, plumbing and heating. And so they have to scan driver's licenses. They have to take a lot of measurements and things of that nature. And there's a lot of human error involved in all of that. There's a lot of manual work, even copying, first name, last name. You were asking me about my first name, last name before the interview. Like, imagine you have to read each letter from a small ID card onto a form, like do it 50 times a day. That's tedious work. Now, with AI, I can just take a picture and accurately within seconds transfer over all the data into a database, right? That's just one aspect of it. But then, how do you make it a part of your entire workflow? So in my company, Cutter Noodle, what we do is we take your entire business and start to convert that into an automated workflow. So imagine hiring an AI employee who understands your business and does the job like a human will do over and over again, 24/7. So that's the idea, where we are seeing a lot of this manual work, spreadsheets, paperwork, entering data, calling people, following up with them. So again, similar situation where that we are talking to, we are working with some dentist offices, some healthcare clinics. So there, the biggest problem is scheduling the patient to come in, because they have to call them multiple times. They have to adjust the schedule. They have to confirm, hey, your appointment is at 1 p.m. today. Are you going to come in and show up? And blah blah blah. All of this used to take a lot of time, and now with AI, this is like just on autopilot.
Wow.
And yeah.
I mean, and I'm just thinking of my dentist, and I'm like, yeah, they have like at least 3 receptionists. It's a big office, right? But yeah, there's a lot of manpower that has to go into just communicating with the customers, getting them in, in the door, rescheduling, all that kind of stuff. I mean, let me ask this though, because I know there's a lot of concern. I don't know how warranted it is anymore about hallucination with AI. So especially when you get into like medical practices and things like that, like are there tools now that has been addressed, or how do you deal with that part of it?
So you have to understand a few things, right? AI is nothing else but a true representation of human thought, how humans behave.
Right.
So I hear a lot of people show concern about hallucination, and by no means I'm minimizing the issue, but I also want to remind people that as humans, we also hallucinate. Like, we lie all the time. We make up stuff all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's not like every human knows exactly what's going on. Now, in fields where research and accuracy is highly important, like legal and medical and things like that, you need to understand that what people are used to is these public platforms like ChatGPT and all that. They are meant for the masses. They are the least common denominator. So the settings in there are set for billions of people around the world. But in order for you to run a business, serious business like legal or medical, you have to think about creating your own private AI and set those settings in such a way that it doesn't hallucinate. It only focuses on the facts. Whatever you feed it as facts, it's only going to look at that. It's not going to make up new stuff. So there are many ways to get around this, but you have to really understand what is it that you're trying to do. You must have the technical expertise to be able to tackle this, and you must do you must work with experts in tackling these kind of large issues in order to harness the true power of this technology.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, obviously, I know just from looking at it myself, I mean, that it's incredibly overwhelming, right? I mean, there's so many different tools, and I would have a hard time even deciding, okay, I have this problem, which of these tools is the right solution? And there's a bunch I don't even know of, I'm sure, and all that. So I guess, obviously, somebody can just come directly to you and say, hey, take care of it for me. Great, right? But let's say they're trying to get started on their own, right? They're trying to figure out, okay, day one, I'm sitting down. I know I got this 80%. Maybe we'll stick with the example of kind of the filling out forms and the tedium and all that kind of stuff. Did you recommend, like, should they start with ChatGPT and see what they can do, or like should they go straight to something that's more targeted? Like, where do you typically recommend people get rolling?
Start with ChatGPT. Again, it depends on your business size and it depends on the stakes that you're playing with. So if you're a small business owner, less than 5 to 10 employees, start with ChatGPT.
Okay.
Anyway, like I will always advise people to start dipping their toes with ChatGPT. Even if you're a large enterprise customer, like you have to understand the basics a little bit. So start with ChatGPT. And then as you start to get serious about this, then you say, hey, my business is a $5 million business. And if I upload something that is sensitive, that goes to OpenAI, that goes to ChatGPT, I don't want to risk that. So I will create my own private ChatGPT. Or if you say, hey, I'm just starting off, my revenues are like around $150,000. Like even if I'm uploading my data, it's not going to be that sensitive. I'm just going to be careful not to upload like private information, SIN numbers, addresses, these type of things. So that works perfectly well. And then what I will advise people is not to just think about AI as an isolated technology. Combine it with things like automation, RPA, robotic process automation, blockchain, these type of things, where when you combine these technologies, it gives you tremendous power to grow your business without relying on you hiring massive teams or consultants or those type of things, right? I'll share a statistic with you. Sam Altman, who's the CEO of OpenAI, he has said publicly that within 5 years, $1 billion company is going to be run by one employee, which is the CEO. The rest of everything will be done by AI. So think about that vision and see what is the most, the biggest hurdle in your growth. It's typically people.
Right.
Smart people who know what they're doing, they work with you and work hard, work consistently. Now, it takes amazing amount of time, effort, and money to find those people, hire those people, pay those people, and retain those people. And imagine now you can do all that with AI, how fast and how far you can go.
Wow. So what do you think? I mean, I guess that we're talking 5 years from now. I mean, I could see this stuff being capable of most of what we do at that point. But in the meantime, like, should we try not to hire somebody and try to see if AI can do the job now? Like, are we at that point already?
Yeah, the 5 years will come like in a blink of an eye. So, of course, let's bring it back here. So, with that vision in mind, take those steps today. So,
Okay.
absolutely, shift your mindset to AI first. Not that I am doing this, so let's see how AI will do it. But let's say I want to achieve this goal. So I'll give you an example, right? There are a lot of people trying to create AI-enabled voice agents, sales rep, appointment booking reps. These type of offers are all over the internet, right? But think about it this way. What does appointment setter do? They engage a prospect, they build rapport with them, they present the solution, and then they book an appointment. Then the next step in the appointment is to convince them that we are the right solution for you, send them a contract, get the contract signed, get the payment, onboard the client, blah, 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 blah. Right? Why only focus on the appointment setter where we can actually say to an AI, go find me the clients, sign up the contracts, get the payment in, onboard the clients. So we eliminate all those steps in the middle.
Wow.
You see? So when you start to think AI first, focus on the goals, what you're trying to achieve. Even if in your human mind it's not feasible yet, try to think, how will AI do this? What are the steps I can eliminate and do it that way? That's truly what I want people to start thinking about. And that's when their mind opens up into what this technology is capable of.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's to me even kind of overwhelming to think that way, right? Because I mean, what does it do and how can it do it? I mean, so let's take an example and maybe kind of walk through how we would do it, right? So I like that example. I'm trying. I want to get customers. Everybody wants more customers, right? So where would you sort of start with one piece of that process and try to like fully make that AI and then move on to another, or do you sort of try to build the whole thing at
Yeah.
once? Like what's the thought
Yeah, so
process?
let's say if we are talking about B2B scenario,
Hmm.
where we are selling to other businesses. The first thing is getting the data. Where are we going to get the data from in terms of our target audience? So there are many databases available. Start with Sales Navigator, LinkedIn Sales Navigator,
Hmm.
Apollo. There's another platform which I recommend. Start with what is it?
Right. Okay.
Play.com. And then you start to, in the past, what we used to have to do was, download 1,000 of these contacts and start blasting them with email and blah, blah, blah. Now, what we can do is we can actually start to gather intelligence on each one of these 1,000 people and say, hey, tell me a little bit about what they're talking about online. Tell me what their bottlenecks are. From the public information that's available about the company, what can I offer as my service that will be beneficial to them? So we highly personalize the approach, and then we start to send them, these personalized messages, very much similar to how a very smart salesperson will do.
Sure.
Rather than blasting them, copy and paste messages, we'll say, hey, Nick is into videography. If I offer him something related to videos and how he can produce content at mass, he'll be really interested in that. So something along those lines, right? And then you have some sort of a follow-up routine where, again, even the best salespeople are notorious for not following up because we are humans.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Now you create these AI agents that are meticulously following up after 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, and they present the solution. And even, let's say somebody says, "Okay, I'm interested," they can run the demo for you. They can book a call. You don't have to show up on the call. They'll run the demo. They'll make the presentation and all that, answer the questions, and then if they're interested, they can send the contract, um, get the contract signed, all of that. So this is all possible today.
Wow. I mean, from what you've seen, like, how do customers feel about this stuff? Like, does anybody ever feel like off about it, or they all kind of love it because it's so new and cool? Or
See, here is the thing. When we switch from one technology to another, there's always going to be resistance.
sure.
Okay, so I'd ask people, tell me if you remember the specific day when internet became part of your life. Right? Nobody can say that. Okay, this is when. But now it's an integral part of life, without which we cannot live.
Hmm.
Same thing with smartphones. When we used to carry all these big ass,
Right.
phones and whatnot. Now, when the smartphone came along, even though it was a cool gadget, not everybody was open to it. I mean, even today, some people are, walking around with their old phones, right? So the idea here is that we can be upfront and say, look, we are implementing this fast, efficient process for you to get through this quickly. It's run by AI. If you are open to it, good. Otherwise, here is a number to call a human, and they can assist you. Like just before this call, I was trying to contact my telecom company for the internet, some internet troubleshooting, and they said, "Hey, I can send you a guide, which you can go through it on your own, or I can give you a call back and you can talk to a real live person. The choice is mine,
Hmm.
right?" And so typically, what I will predict what will happen is if you're selling services which are straightforward, doesn't need a lot of education, it doesn't need a lot of personalization configuration, then this method will become the mainstream method. you
Wow.
know
Yeah.
and if you're selling something like, hey, you need personal consultation, like you need some options here. Hey, what color of leather will you like? What color of this trimming will you like? And all of those things, that's when more humans will be involved. So there will be a balance of automation versus humans. Humans are not going anywhere. They're not going to be replaced. They're just going to move up in the value chain to more, more valuable, more costly, more personalized services.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, that's crazy. So let me come back to part of what that process was. We talked about, this presentation that the AI can do, because that kind of caught my attention. So how do we make that? Because I think a lot of us are familiar with, ChatGPT and kind of having a conversation and getting some responses, but like a system that's like literally doing a presentation on your behalf, like how do we get to that level? What are we talking about there?
I mean, see, all these things are possible, but what has happened in the AI industry, people are used to, okay, there's a tool that is doing that, and I pay $20 a month, and it does that,
Sure.
right? These are ideas that will replace your entire department. You have to think about beyond $20 a month.
Sure.
So we build these systems for companies, but we also say, hey, be ready to invest, a little bit upfront, because we are setting you up for the future. We are building your digital mind that will, run your business on your behalf while you enjoy your time. So in the start of any industry, like I remember when DVD players came out, I think I paid like $900 to buy the DVD player.
Yeah.
And now, like you can buy it for $10. They don't even manufacture them anymore, right? So same thing with like LED TVs, like flat screen TVs, like they were like expensive, like tens of thousands of dollars. Now you can get a very, very good high quality flat screen TV for $500. All these things will be possible and will come down in cost. But if you want a Lamborghini, or if you want the Rolls Royce of what I'm describing here, think that, hey, if I have a sales team of 3 people, my yearly cost minimal will be $150,000 on that. Yeah.
Right.
So if I want to supplement them, like, am I willing to make an investment of 50K, 75K, and then get the ROI on that in the next year, because I will be making so much more profit and all of that?
Makes sense. Yeah. So when somebody's getting started here, I know you mentioned earlier kind of like having your own AI, right? Like something that's custom trained and all that. Are you talking like, do companies have like their own fully custom model? Or are you taking, off the shelf models and then kind of refining them?
Yeah, there are many open source models.
Okay.
The best one, one of the market leaders is from Facebook, Llama.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, it's like a raw ChatGPT that you can deploy on your computer or your server, and you can train it with your own data. So we have worked with some legal companies, some other industries where we uploaded thousands of their own documents, and now it is a fully trained AI that is specifically catering to their business. So it can do fancy stuff, like it can monitor all your contracts, all your paperwork, and it can remind you, hey, this contract is expiring. Hey, there is a risky clause in this contract, so pay attention to that. All of these things are feasible as we create these personalized AI systems.
Amazing. Yeah. So what do you think? Obviously a lot of us are savvy enough to be, implementing these things at this point, but how much longer does the average business have to not use AI? Like, do you think we're going to hit a point here where it's like, if you're not using it, you're done, or where are we at?
You are quite behind, actually. You're quite behind, because here is the thing. Think about it this way, right? This was very similar situation back in 1995, 96. I remember, like, I was fresh out of university. I was applying for a job. 1996 is when I logged into the internet for the first time. Okay, so I was living in India in a small town. Internet was like we were kind of behind on technology. 1996, first time logged into the internet. 1998, I remember I was applying for an entry level job, and I could not apply for an entry level job if I didn't have a Word resume and an email address. So in 2 years, the world had changed. So, and I remember also, around the same time, I used to talk to businesses and say, hey, do you have an email address? Do you need a website? They'll be like, no, I've got my white pages, yellow pages, I'm good. And now, like, again, in 3 years' time, like, I think Jeff Bezos launched Amazon in 1997, and it took him 15 years to become the richest person on the planet. And he beat Walmart, which is which was unbeatable retail chain, right? So
Right.
now Amazon is bigger than Walmart. So learn from history and understand that if you're not using these technologies, your next door competitor is using them. And how long do you think you're going to be in business once they quadruple their capacity overnight?
Yeah. Wow. Scary stuff if you're not using it. Yeah. So I think the lesson is get to work, start putting this AI to use, right? What do you, I guess, as people are doing this, you can come back to the open source with the Llama model or Llama model. What do you think about DeepSeek? Because that's the open source one, came out not too long ago. Big news. People are all worried about security. I know there's a couple other companies. Perplexity has implemented it, and you can use it. It's US based in that case. What's your thoughts on that one?
I mean, here is what is going to happen now. Our heads are going to continue to spin at the rate of innovation. So DeepSeek is just another innovation, which is, what happens is when somebody comes up with a brand new idea, the next person will improve it, the next person will improve it a little bit more, and so on and so forth. Now, it used to take quite a bit of time for the next iteration to come in because human mind is not as capable of coming up with new inventions and trying things out and all that. Now AI is being used to innovate. So imagine infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom, plus the speed of computers is used to innovate on the next iteration, next iteration, next iteration. So there's going to be many more deep seeks, many more new ways of doing things in every industry. And very soon, these headlines will become like old because we will not be able to catch up. So that's why I'm saying businesses who are not using AI right now, they are already behind because the next innovation is already being done with AI. You see? So regarding Chinese, the question of Chinese and security and all that, of course, these are very valid concerns, right? But if I look around my whole room, 90% of the stuff made is in China.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm talking to you through this laptop made in China, the webcam made in China, all of this. So the reality is China is a very formidable player. And if we want to compete, we just need to use these tools. We just need to roll up our sleeves and say, hey, they can do it. Let's work on something even better and whatnot. But the cool thing is there are now a lot of options available. The cost of innovation is going down. This is what I was trying to say earlier. $1 billion company is going to be run by one employee. So OpenAI is, I think, few $100 billion worth right now, and they have, I think, close to 1,000 employees. And DeepSeek, from what I understand, is they have between 100 to 200 employees. So the shrink, the amount of people, the time, resources required for the innovation is shrinking. So the best thing I can tell you is learn from this and say, hey, I'm working in video industry, I'm working in marketing industry, I'm working in pharmaceutical industry. How can I use these technologies to shrink the time, resources, money, number of people required to get to the next innovation and bring something magical to the marketplace?
Yeah, it's so crazy to think, a couple hundred employees and you can be doing billions of dollars of revenue, right? I mean, one person running $1 billion company, that's gonna be something else at that point. That's gonna be interesting to see. Let me come back to, you were talking earlier about the idea that, companies have their own dedicated AI on their own computers, all that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously that's going to give them a lot more security, especially when they're working with sensitive data. From a security standpoint, if I'm a business owner and I'm using tools like ChatGPT, I guess what should I be concerned about? I mean, I know that I'm passing information to them. Like, is this something where it can show up in somebody else's conversation with the AI, or like what sort of scenarios should I be
Well,
concerned about?
let me clarify. Like, I don't like fear mongering at all. So think about ChatGPT as a big ocean,
Okay,
and you are dropping a glass of water in the ocean.
got it.
Okay.
Okay,
Now, if you drop 10,000 glasses of water, that's a significant amount of water. And the idea is that it's not going to verbatim show somebody exactly what you are typing, but it can start to influence how it projects the answer. So let's say I upload the secret formula to Coca-Cola, and tomorrow somebody says, "Hey, I would like to come up with a new drink. Can you give me some recipe?" And now the AI can sort of, it's not going to like exactly replicate, hey, this is the formula to Coca-Cola. It can say, hey, use these ingredients. They seem to be popular.
right.
You know?
Okay, so yeah, so if you're not hammering it with the same information, kind of you're teaching it. If you teach it too much, it could start to sort of repeat that in general. It makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask another question here. In terms of, if I'm getting started again, kind of from that perspective, what's the best way to learn this stuff? Like, should I come to you? Do you have some courses you could offer? Or, should I just go to the AI and start talking to it? Like, what's kind of the fastest route to adoption?
The best simplest way is, just like riding the bicycle, start riding the bicycle.
Okay.
So sign up for a free account, start talking to it. Then, as I said, focus not more on collecting information, but figuring out what is the outcome you're looking for. More business growth, profits, more customers, whatever that is. Then work backwards from there and say, okay, in order for me to get one customer, I have to do this. So where can I use AI? And that's when you start talking to somebody like me to say that, hey, I figured out that I will grow my business, 5 times if I'm able to do these things. Out of these 5 things, I was able to do 2 things, which I will like some second opinion on, but I was not even able to get around to these 3 things, which I can't even understand how to do.
Okay.
So can you help me reevaluate these 2 and then help me do these 3? And then that's how it goes, right? So think of me as a doctor. If you have, God forbid, if you have a stomachache, you can take a pill, an Advil or something. But if it doesn't go away, visit me. We'll do some tests. We'll say, hey, this is what you need.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool. Well, so from your experience, obviously you're working with a lot of different kinds of businesses and stuff. Where have you seen AI have like the most significant impact within a business so far?
I feel, if you're a growing, if you, so there are a few things, right? One is if you don't have enough customers. So if you're a growing business, you want more customers, that's when it has a huge impact because now it removes the biggest bottleneck, which is, revenue and customers, right? Then if you have customers, then in operation side, it removes a lot of bottleneck because if a business has a lot of customers coming in, they don't want they're not stressed over, okay, where do I get my next client? They are stressed over how do I make sure that I give an excellent service to my clients and they don't leave.
Right.
And that's where most of the problems happen. So, think which stage of the business are you in? Are you looking for more customers? It'll help you there. Or are you looking to service your existing customers and keep them happy and, keep them growing and upsell them and all of that? That's when the operations come in. These two, and of course, I'm very highly generalizing all of this, right? But some people have issues with accounting. Some people have issues with legal. Some people have all of this.
Sure.
So it depends on the business. Think not about how other people are doing it. Think about yourself, your business, and what is important to you. That's the key message.
Got it. All right. Very cool. Well, I know we're getting low on time here, but I do want to make sure we have a chance for anybody's listening to this. I'm sure they're going, okay, I need to follow this guy. I need to stay in touch with him. So I'll get to, how they can hire you as well. But I know you're on social and all that stuff all the time. So where should I find you if I'm looking to learn more from you?
Yeah, just go to my website, manujaggarwal.com. It's a little bit difficult to spell. Google my name. I'm very easy to find. Connect me on LinkedIn, Facebook, as you said, like I'm on all social platforms. Let me know you heard me on this podcast, this platform. What is your business about? How can I help? Yeah, reach out. Like, this is an exciting time to be alive. A lot of billionaires are going to be made in the next 5 years, and I want to make as many billionaires as possible.
I love it. Cool. So if a business is looking to engage with you to build out some of these larger scale projects, go the same route, same website, or should they go somewhere
Oh, yeah.
else for that?
Petronoodle.com, that's my company website.
Okay.
Either one, there's, yeah, as I said, I'm easy to find. Just reach out.
All right. Very cool. Well, this has been great, Manuj. I really appreciate you joining me today. Fascinating stuff. And yeah, thanks for sharing your expertise with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And for those of you watching, thanks for joining us. This has been another episode of Teach Me AI. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope to see you on the next one. We'll talk to you then.
You're watching Teach Me AI with host Nick Niehaus.